What's up, and welcome back to S'mores, a campfire talk. Last week, if you didn't listen or watch it, we did music. And before we start this week, let's do a roll call. Starting with Kaylee.
Roll call. I am here.
I'm Jade.
I'm Isabel. I didn't know if you were gonna say something or not right then.
Oh, shoot. Hi, my name's Lauren, or L-Dog.
And I'm Ricky.
And this is Troy, your host for the evening.
For the boys.
So this week, we're going over movies. And for my first question is, what is y'all favorite movie? I'm going to go last on the rotation, so y'all know.
Okay. So who's first?
I feel like the movie buffs have something to say.
Look,
Oh, yeah,
I'm trying to restrain myself.
the
This
two-
whole
Go
entire
wild.
podcast.
The two movie snobs need to go first.
Well, the problem is I don't have a lot of favorite movies. It's
Then it shouldn't be that hard to choose from.
I'm just asking you to just name one movie you really like.
It doesn't have to be your favorite.
actually, I really like this movie called it's called Push. It was made in 2009. It has Chris Evans in it, Dakota Fanning. Those are the two main characters in it, and it's actually not like a perfect movie by any means, but it's actually one of my favorites.
I think one of my favorite movies is Collateral Beauty. I love that movie. It's so good. And Jump In and The Hunger Games. All right.
I don't really have a problem with any movie, so I love all movies. I like Star Wars a lot. That'll be my answer for now, because I blinked on everything thinking these questions. I was like, I can't choose one. So there's my answer.
I like I said, I can't pick a favorite, but if I had to at the moment, Interstellar is one of my favorites of all time, along with like Sinbad, which is an animated movie from a long time ago. Those are two of my I really like those a lot.
So I don't have a specific movie that I like. There's a lot of movies that I hold to like the same level of like enjoyment. But the first movie that I can think of that comes to mind is a movie called Dances with Wolves. It's a movie with Kevin Costner, and he's like a Union soldier, and he has to go out into like the I guess like Wild West, and then like has to like survive out there. So that movie.
And in a way, I'm in the same boat as Isabel, as in it was really hard to choose because I like so many. But I chose the Rush Hour series because I really like those. It has Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. And I guess honorable mention, I gotta put Surf's Up in there just for the nostalgia.
Let's go.
It's animated, but and I guess a lot of people probably wouldn't like it, but it's close to my childhood, you know.
Yeah, like nostalgia factor.
Yeah, that one is hard.
Can I add, if we're adding animated movies, Lilo and Stitch and Spirit. I watch those every single day for like the solid 4 years of my childhood. They were
Yeah.
so good.
Same with
Yeah.
Mulan.
Oh,
and Mulan
Tangled.
too, yeah.
I
Tangled.
love Tangled.
A lot of animated movies. That's another podcast. That's another
Yeah.
podcast.
All right, so next question: favorite actor slash actress and why?
I don't know if I have a solid favorite. I keep like collecting them as I go along. Just like, oh, I really like you. It's like I kind of like, I don't know. I really like, I guess, quote unquote, in like the background kind of actors where they kind of started out and you don't really like pay attention to them, but they give really good performances and they always have in their work or whatever they do. And they have like a breakout show or movie. I like those kind of people. It's like, I don't know. There's a few. There's like Cillian Murphy, Rami Malek. Really like him. Actually, Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead, the TV show. I really like his acting a lot. Like, I think it's really good.
I like Jennifer Lawrence.
I love her.
I freaking love her. She's just great, man. That's probably my favorite actress.
Why?
Because she's great. Her acting is so good, and she's so funny, like, off camera. She's just a good actress. 10 out of 10. I love her. Yes, 10 out of 10 would watch her movies again.
So I'm really bad at names, and I cannot like. Oh my god, I know her name, but I can't remember. Freaking we watched Just Go With It, the actress.
Oh, Adam Sandler.
No,
Jennifer
the actress.
Aniston.
Jennifer
Aniston?
Aniston.
Oh, Jennifer
I
Aniston.
love
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston.
That's like, I shouldn't even said Adam.
I was like, you should have said
I
Adam
wanted to give him some props, but you know what? I should have known.
He's the same character in every movie. Okay, sorry, off topic. Jennifer Aniston. I don't know why I love her so much, but she's just like I see her and I just get happy.
Yeah,
Like,
she's a good girl.
She just, but yeah. So she would be actress for actor. Come back to me. I don't know.
I mean, just-
Who knows? Oh, it's only one
yeah,
person.
fine.
Okay, then Jennifer
Well, like, just in
Aniston.
case it's the actress.
Okay. I'm so sorry, but I'm not gonna answer this like the right way. Cause like whenever I think of actor, it's so hard for me because whenever I've ever like drawn something or like thought of something in my head, I'm able to like create the character in a different way each time. So whenever actors per se like re-show up in things, like that's never occurred to me to like reuse a quote unquote person or like a thing because I could just draw it however I wanted. So like for me, it's just an actor. Like an actor is an actor. However, I do understand like in the real movie world, actors are very important. However, in drawing, it's sort of like the voice actor instead of like the actual like person. So it's more of the performance and like how they do that, whatever. But if I had to choose, the only person I can think of, and it's so weird, is like Zendaya. Like her performances are very like ranging of like Euphoria to like her Shake It Up career to like Spider-Man. She's had like a really good range. And so if I ever had like a person actor like that you could see instead of like a voice actor, it'd probably be Zendaya.
It's different, man.
Mm-hmm.
She hits different. What a great actor.
Can I add on? I totally forgot Robin Williams.
Oh
I
yes.
love this man. Whether it be like he's doing voice acting for someone or it's actually him on the screen, like he always just does such a good job. Like, I love that man.
I would have to say my favorite guy is Tom Cruise. I just like a lot of his action movies and his charisma when he goes into the characters and stuff, especially like the Mission Impossible movies and like stuff like Rain Man or like Jerry Maguire. Like I really like his performances in those movies.
All right, well, for me, I gotta go Will Smith. I know that might be like a common answer or whatever, but I don't know. Just watching him like growing up as a kid, like he's never really disappointed me in anything he's been in. So I don't know if that's just like the kid factor, nostalgia, just like the attachment or whatever. But even with like Fresh Prince, I've loved watching his shows and like movies and everything. He's the only actor that like ever brought me to tears. So that look he hit hard. And then I gotta do an honorable mention to like Robert Downey Jr. Gotta put him on that, and
Yep.
low key been sleeping on Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love Jamie Foxx.
Cause yeah, usually he's seen more as like an artist for like music, but low key he's a really good actor.
Girls, man. I forgot to mention one of my favorite movies is also The Greatest Showman. I could watch that movie on repeat all day.
All right, so next question: your favorite genre of movie,
Oh god.
and it can be like a combo.
Okay.
I really enjoy science fiction. That's like I like the like imagination and like the possibilities of what could happen and like exploring that realm, I guess, and like just seeing it put into like visuals and like maybe like combine it with like something practical. That part was always like fascinating to me. So science fiction is top for me.
So whenever I think of like actual genre, I think of like fantasy, which is like one of my favorites. Like I love fantasy stuff. It's just really hard to find like fantasy stuff that I really enjoy. For example, or medieval, like The King on Netflix. I thought was a really, really good movie. And it's like more based in the medieval area. But in the bigger spectrum of things, drama, and what I mean by drama is just like a really good story. because Interstellar is not my genre in any means, like space movies for real. Like I never thought I would like really enjoy a space movie, but it's one of my favorites of all time. So it's really about like how the story is told and portrayed that really like makes the genre hit for me.
Uh,
Do you want
now I'm asking rotation.
to? Okay. I like science fiction, like Ricky said. You know, all those sci-fi movies, love them. Romantic movies, love them. Romantic comedy, love it. I love drama, love that too. Romantic drama, love that too. So yeah, I'm that person. Sorry.
I like a lot of genres of movies, and I think we'll get into this later, but I think a lot of like movies that I really love kind of have to overlap genres in a way. And the movies I like that have always like reoccurring my favorite movies have something to do with like science fiction. It always seems to. Like, and it's weird because it used to creep me out as a child. Like, I was like so scared to watch those movies. I was like, I don't want to feel like I feel like my soul is leaving my body. It was so gross. I was like, oh, but like, yeah, I really love those movies. I love exploring like the what if of stuff. It's like this could happen. Like, what about this? It's great. Like exploring possibilities, or anything that's like, yeah, anything that has a mystery to it. I love all of that. Like the action adventure, like all of those sci-fi things mixed together, thrillers, that kind of stuff.
I think for me, again, because I love so many different movies, it'd be easier to say what genres I'm not too big of a fan of, really. So, like, I like comedy, but, like, as you said, the kind of the Adam Sandler comedy, like that, I'm like, it's good, but I watch it for the other people, to be honest. And then, like, romance. I'm not too big of a fan of romance. Sitting next to the person who loves romance. I will say though, like sitting here thinking, oh, what is that one movie? Freaking, I really like. Okay, so Silver Lining Playbook. I like that one. That one's like it's like romance kind of. There's other stuff in it though, and then there's this other one I can't remember. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of the movie. But I can't even remember the actor's name. I'm so bad with names. My gosh. But the whole thing is like he had cancer. He ended up passing away. But he wrote a bunch of letters for like his his like wife or whatever.
Dear John.
I'm over here thinking about The Notebook.
I do like Dear John. No.
A bunch of notes.
It's
I mean, he was journaling.
Wait,
the
in
whole
Silver
movie
Lining?
it's
in
oh
The
my god, I
Notebook.
can't remember his name. 300, the 300 actor, main
Gerard
guy.
Butler.
Gerard Butler. Yes, it's Gerard Butler's in the movie. And he writes notes to his wife and he dies. And I was crying the whole movie, but it was so good. I can't remember the name of the movie. Hold on. Give me a second. Continue with whatever's happening.
All right, so I'd have to say mine is action comedy.
Rush Hour?
Yeah,
Rush
that's,
Hour?
that's why I had to say Rush Hour, because I was like, if I'm going to go action comedy, I should pick a movie in that I really like. But basically, I'm a really big fan of, like, martial arts. So, like, having Jackie Chan in it and everything, and his lines, and he's funny, and I like his acting and all that, so that that really hit hard with me. And, I don't know, like, for me, those are just the best.
Have you seen The Hitman's Bodyguard?
I have. Like,
Do you
I
like
love
one?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great movie. And I was just thinking like action comedy.
And yeah, like, especially when you know, like, the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you kind of already have, like, an expectation of what the movie's going to be. And, like, I don't know, it just makes it better. And, do you want to go before
Oh,
Kinda move
yeah.
on.
So, anyway. The only two romance movies I really enjoyed. So, Silver Lining Playbook, which I completely forgot about until the conversation. And then P.S. I Love You. That's what it was called. I love that movie. I cry every time I watch it. But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm not too big of a fan of romance, but I do have a couple that I do like. But for every other genre, I love. So, because I'm not picky with movies at all, really. I love everything.
Oh, also, real quick, if we're talking about like romance, I really like La La Land. I love that movie so much. And
those
also,
those two actors go
love it.
so good together.
yeah, they're always working together.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also a movie called Before We Go that has Chris Evans in it as well. So that's a good movie.
All right, next question. What makes a movie good or bad? And we did kind of touch this earlier.
Yes.
On some levels.
Yep.
You want to start, Kaylee, or do you want me to go?
I'm gonna gather my thoughts. So
Okay. I think what makes a movie good or bad is if the movie is bad, that it's bad.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
I love that. That's great, Jade. Preach.
Riveting work.
Yeah.
If the
Stop,
movie
stop.
is like boring
Yep.
and it just hasn't, it's going nowhere, that's a boring movie. That's a bad plot. If there's no like climax, it's just staying, and then it ends. Boring.
Is there a
Bad
movie without a
movie.
climax?
They be having, yeah, they be trying to have a climax, and it's just not working, bro. It's just boring. What's boring? What's a boring movie?
Batman versus Superman.
That is facts.
Wow.
Yeah,
I got
she's
bored.
not
I was
wrong.
sleeping.
Bro,
I'm sorry.
it's just
It
bad.
just feels so fake.
Yes.
I was just like, I'm tired.
Or too much singing?
It's like, am I
in
watching the Justice
musically-
League? No.
My
no, I'm not.
God,
musicals?
trying to watch Frozen 2, I couldn't watch the movie. They broke out in song every 5 seconds. Every single
I
conversation
can't. Yeah.
was a song. Dude, oh my God, I was like halfway through the movie, I was about to boycott it.
Yeah, musicals. I mean, the only musical I really like is The Greatest Showman. But like musicals that just go and go and go, and sing and sing and sing. I just get like Into the Woods. The first 20 minutes was them saying that they were in the woods, singing it. So that's terrible.
Can we go back to least favorite, or whatever your most favorite was, but I made it my least favorite? Freaking musicals.
Yes.
I cannot stand musicals. Like, it's too much. Like, stop. Like, Flynn Rider and Tangled, when he's like, why is everyone singing? Stop. That's me. Like, freaking stop.
Even
I
though
can't
that
do
movie
this.
is a musical.
It is a musical, but they don't sing every. Dude, when I tell you, you guys, you didn't see Frozen 2. Oh my God. Good thing we rented it at home, because if I was in the theater, I would have walked out and lost it. I'd be yelling, running out the theater, like, I can't do this.
Speaking of, I saw this headline on this article, and it says, "Why hasn't I Am Legend 2 coming out?" And like, there was an article on that, and like, that kind of touched base on like Frozen 2. Like, sometimes a movie just needs to be left alone. Like it's done
Most
after the first
times,
one.
99% of the time.
It's like,
alone.
stop! Don't mess with it. Stop putting your fingers all over it. Leave it alone.
Like Fast and Furious. How many of those movies are they going to make? Like, when is it going to be over?
I think they're going to 10.
Yeah,
I-
but that movie was never like, you were never like, this movie is perfect. Don't touch it. It was
Perfect, no.
supposed to be like, ooh.
I
more
think
stuff
after
is
the-
happening.
build up was
the
the
first-
hype.
My
yeah.
God.
The one thing I would say, like, I just watched Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol and Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, and I wish they didn't make both two of those movies. I wish it would have stopped at 3 or 1. I would have been totally fine with 1, because like at some point, like, it's already like out there as far as like the stuff that happens, but then like, I guess like stuff becomes too Hollywood.
Yeah, that's like I don't know what to call that. It's a different problem where like when movies go on, they start out good and they start to become like a parody of themselves. And
Yeah.
I hate that a lot. Like
Yeah.
a lot.
What makes a movie good? I don't know. I don't really pay attention to what makes it good. If it's good, it's good.
You kind of, I guess, would you say you're more invested in like the emotional reaction versus like the fine little details like the plot of the characters?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if the movie is good and it's like it's just getting to me, man, then it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't really care who acts in it
Yeah.
or who made it.
I think like there's a lot of things that goes into a good movie, because sometimes like visuals can just like stimulate you and be like, I really like how the movie looked, even though the movie's trash. It looked pretty, and like I like that movie, not entirely, but I like it because of that. Or it can just be the characters, or the plot. That's been mentioned. So I think you can like a movie, but I don't think there is like a good movie where it hits on every single point entirely. And that's like, that'd be perfect.
Ooh. I guess I wasn't thinking such as like a perfect movie in a
Okay.
way, but like,
So, okay.
'cause there will be movies you like and everything,
Yeah.
but you can like a movie and know it's bad.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like,
I totally,
I know it's trash, but I just like it.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
like Jump In. Everybody thinks it's trash, but they don't have taste, so that's not my problem.
So I guess I would say, what makes a movie good that you can say, whether like people like it or not, it's a good movie.
Jump In
Like,
is a
altogether.
good movie because what? We're talking about movies. Jump In is a good movie because the Double Dutch is immaculate.
the Shuffle Dutch.
The visuals, man, the bullying,
They say the bullying.
the bullying lesson is
Oh,
just great.
I thought the actual.
The bully turns into his friend.
Okay, I
bro.
thought the fact of
What better
bullying was
lesson
great.
is that? No, the bullying makes the movie. No, the bullying.
did a great job
the bully
hazing
becomes his
that kid.
friend,
Okay.
and he learns what it is to give up something for something you love. So it's just powerful and
Okay.
beautiful.
I guess like okay, going back as like the emotional reaction is just like those different things. Like the characters can have an emotional effect on you, based on their portrayal of the feelings that scene is like supposed to have, and like that part can make you really like the movie. But then it has like a really dopey score, and you're just like, this doesn't match what they're trying to like the emotion they're trying to give, or the plot is like it just falls dead after like 2/3, like the second middle act or the third act. And like it's really good, and then it falls dead. And like, yeah, I really like the beginning, and I can never say I hate the movie because I really love the first act. I guess like that kind of stuff would make you like a movie.
What makes a movie is everything about the movie, but I feel like the biggest point is the feeling that it gives you. The plot could honestly be hot garbage, and I personally wouldn't like it, but if it gave you a feeling, like movies are it's meant to be enjoyed. And so it's the feeling that movie gives you that makes it good. For me, it's a lot of like storyline, plot, and caring about a character. For me, the hardest thing to get a watcher or like whoever is consuming something to do is really like care or emotionally attached to a character. Because if you don't care about the character, you don't care about the movie. Like it's boring per se. You have no attachment to it. But once you get a feeling, whether it's like, oh, I've been in this situation, or oh, this is pretty interesting, what happens next, it's really about the feeling that the movie gives. The cinematography, the lighting, the soundtrack, everything adds up to make that feeling work. And so I think everything about a movie is important to make a good movie, but a good movie really depends on the person and who's watching it, because personally, I'm not a big fan of comedy movies, but if that gives you a feeling of like joy or excitement, then it's a good movie to you. So the feeling is what makes a good movie. How you are impacted by that movie is what makes it good or bad.
Yeah, I have to agree with that with the whole feeling thing. Like, I was reading a story the other day, and like I was crying. Like, and Ricky was like, "Well, like, why do you
I
read
sat next
it?"
to you as you cried.
Yeah, he was like, "Well, why are you gonna read it if you're gonna be crying?" And like that's pretty much how I base my if the movie is good or not. Is if you can evoke emotion from me, like same thing with like reading movies. If you can make me feel a strong emotion, then that is a good movie to me. It's just like I need that like interaction kind of thing. Like, cause I've been told like I don't like being in like I like being in fiction. So like, for me to be like fully absorbed in the movie, like I like when it can bring me to that world. Like if I'm fully absorbed in it, whether it be the storyline or just the emotion that it evokes, like that to me is what makes it a really, really good movie.
I really agree with what Lauren said, but I'm just gonna say it again in my own words, I guess. To me, there's like, obviously there's so many elements that go into the making the movie. You got the music, the directors, cinematography, the actors, the actual style of the movie, the genre, all of that stuff. But I believe it has like everything to do with all of those things and then nothing at the same time. Like at the end of the day, there's like, I think what makes a movie good for me is there's something authentic about it. Like you have to bring the truth of it out of whatever you're doing. Like that's why people love superhero movies so much. It's like people flying around and like having these crazy powers. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's like the truth that you bring out of it. There's something about a movie that resonates with you, and that's why it doesn't have to be perfect to be a good movie.
Yes, I love that quote. It's everything about it and nothing at the same time. Because at the end of the day, it's like, for me, you say like the truth. For me,
Mhm.
it's the feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I probably should have went before y'all. Goddamn, I gotta follow that. But I do agree with what they said, as in like everything in the movie. I really like when there's a purpose to a movie, I guess. As in like there's a story and the actors and everything in it pretty much tells the story. Kind of how Ricky said, when there's scenes and there's a dopey soundtrack that makes it like all weird and everything. You notice those things. I like when a movie flows. The scenes are good. The actors, they make you believe them. So like you see that character, you don't see the actor anymore. And I really like when actors do other like people, such as Chadwick Boseman doing Jackie Robinson. I really like when they kind of like I guess reenact or whatever those type of stories, because you see you're not looking at Chadwick Boseman or Black Panther, I guess you could say. You're looking at Jackie Robinson. Like you're telling like his story. You're bringing like I guess more to it.
I really like what you said made me remind me of like I guess not specific movies, but like kinds of movies, and then that remembering that further reinforced I guess Kaylee's and Lauren's piece where they said truth and emotion. I guess movies that I also really like are movies based on like real life events, and you made me remind that because Jackie Robinson, and I really like that movie because like Kaylee said, there's a truth to how he was treated, and the emotions that he gives off makes you sympathize with him, and you get that emotional part to that movie where you feel for him. And like, I guess movies based on something that actually happened, like let's say you're following two brothers that were in World War II, running away from the Germans, like if they're in Poland or something, like watching that movie and seeing like their struggle, like those movies I really enjoy. Because like somebody was like alive and felt those feelings. There's somebody on the ground, probably at that time period, that did exactly what these guys are doing, and like the emotional struggle of like trying to survive, like that stuff actually could have happened. So I guess like going back to like the truth, like I really like that.
With that, I like the I guess level of understanding you usually get like afterwards, as in like wow, I didn't realize it was like that.
Yeah, you
'Cause-
become more aware.
Yeah, like to see that, it's like wow, I didn't realize you went through that. I didn't realize what made you.
And like for example, a couple movies that came to mind when I was hearing you guys speak after you said Jackie Robinson. I thought of 12 Years a Slave. That one, I was like seeing him go through that. Oh, geez, I had another movie. I totally blanked.
And to add one more thing, I think what makes a great movie are the people who are making it, because you can feel the passion, and like you can tell whenever a work is bland because it shows
Yeah.
in the movie. Like if people are passionate about what they're making and what they're doing, you feel that on the screen. You can tell. And so at the end of the day, you're telling a story, but you're also being able to feel like the emotion, the compassion, the hard work of the group that's made it. It's really important to also have like a really enthusiastic team behind the movie, which makes it great. Did you have anything to say? 'Cause you said yeah.
I lost it for a second. It's back. Oh yeah, just to like one quick thing to sum it up. A movie has to go somewhere. For it to be good, it has to go somewhere. It has to say something, and you have to believe it. It's like my favorite movies, like most favorite movies of all time, is when I've walked out of the theater and I feel like something has changed about me, even just for a moment. I feel like something is different.
For sure. I like that a lot.
Next question. We touched on this previously. When is it time to stop on sequels? And when is it okay to keep going? As in, yes, you could have ended it there, but you can still bring more to the story.
And Troy, are you talking about like tying off loose ends? Is that where you're coming from? Like the first movie left some not plot holes, but like
Yeah,
These
like
two
you're
are
talking about
having
kind
an
of in a way.
aneurysm. What is happening?
Yeah,
These
like
two are freaking out.
so. In a way, yes, for like tying loose ends, but also in a pretty much complete story, as in it's okay if you leave it alone and no one's going to have a problem with it. It's a good movie, but you still can add to it and make it better. You can improve on what has been made.
Okay, you're talking about fleshing out characters.
Yeah. Adding more to a pretty much complete story, I guess you could say. And then on the other side, where you go too far or you go to Hollywood, and it's like, well, you should have stopped here because you had something good.
Lauren, do you have something to say?
Lauren and Kaylee.
Kaylee, do you have something to say?
Yeah, let's just give this question to Lauren and Kaylee right away. Go ahead.
I get physically
One at a time, please.
upset
Yes.
about sequels that don't
Physically
need to
ill.
exist
Yeah.
because Hollywood, the 5 executives up there were like, we need to make money, and so we gonna redo a franchise, because that's literally all it is sometimes.
Also, real quick, I don't like sequels 18 years into the future. Like sequels and remakes are in the same like genre of sucky.
And I get where Hollywood's coming from, where like they're trying to make money and some original ideas
Oh,
don't make
sorry.
as much like stuff or whatever. But for me, like whenever you make a movie, it is an artwork, meaning that you have created it in a whole, and whether or not that is, for me, it's like sometimes there's like 2 parts or a trilogy per se in those kinds of sequels that like you can tell in the first movie it was meant to go on. I completely understand. Like there are some phenomenal trilogies out there, some really sucky trilogies, but it made sense because it led into another one. Some things deserve to end because they're great the way they are. Like just having that one movie, and I remember that movie. Like if they made an Interstellar 2, I would cry. Like what's the point of that? Like there is literally none. That's how I feel like a lot of movies nowadays are going. Like there was like maybe one loose end and we're gonna grab it and strangle it by the throat so we can make a second one. But hey, that is my opinion. Some things very rarely need sequels, but if it's a really good work of art, it is fine by itself.
Like I think it comes from like the planning you do in the beginning. Like if you plan for a movie to go on for 3 movies, then generally it's probably going to work together. And then if you throw a 4th movie in there just because like something's going to be off, it just is going to be. And I think the best movie endings like leave something uncompleted. Like you don't have to tie up every loose end all the time. Like it leaves something with you to take with you. And then like those are the best endings where you're like, oh man, like I'm satisfied, but like you feel like you can let them go. It's more like that to me. It's like you can let the story go. It doesn't have to be completed, quote unquote, per se, or rounded off nicely and ended. Like there can still be some loose ends in the ending of a story. I think a really good example of that is, I don't know if all of you have seen the Bourne trilogy, the Bourne Identity trilogy, but the 3rd movie, like the last part of that, I think is like a perfect ending for a movie. Like it's just so good. Like the way it ends, like it doesn't tie up the loose ends, but it leaves you wondering, but it leaves you satisfied at the same time because you completed the goal at the end of the movie. Like you finished the actual plot, but then left something there.
How, like Isabel mentioned earlier, Fast and Furious. Honestly, after 5, they could have stopped, and it would have been, I feel
Dude.
like, a good, solid kind of story.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only like kind of hole, I guess you could say, was Tokyo Drift, which was the 3rd one that came out. Like timeline wise, that was placed between 6 and 7.
Yeah, which I'm really sad about because Tokyo Drift was my favorite.
I was like, yeah, that was a really good movie. So,
Yeah.
and that way I can see where they keep going. But after like maybe 7, where they kind of tie up the story, I feel like they could have stopped there. And then they make 8, and then they have Hobbs and Shaw, and they have all this extra stuff. And for example, Transformers, after the first 2, they could have ended it, and it would have been, I think, amazing.
Just to address the Transformers one, Troy, I have to disagree. I think you should have stopped at 1.
I mean, I
Yeah,
would have
one
been
was
okay
the
with that.
best.
Yeah, one was good.
I think the second one was like too weird, man. Well, it wasn't weird. It was more like I didn't like it.
That was like my whole thing again. Yeah, like just if there doesn't need to be a sequel, don't make a sequel. Like Pirates of the Caribbean, first movie, amazing. I love that movie. Second one was okay. The third one, I was like, they really need to end it here. And then those last 2 movies were the biggest pieces of garbage I've ever seen. I was like, I can't do this. Which I love Pirates of the Caribbean so much. But is again, yeah, they should have just stopped really at like 1 and maybe 2. The third one was like really pushing it. I was like, y'all need to calm down.
Do you think it would have been okay if if they had a different focus? Because we've watched videos where they talk about why the first one was so great and how, Jack Sparrow wasn't the main character and like his relationship between him and the main character and everything. And then since everybody loved him so much, they switched it and made him the main like attraction.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, yeah, because again, like, it's like, oh, everybody loves this character, let's make a money grab and make freaking 4 other movies about just him. And I'm just like,
I also feel like people relate to the side character. Like, sometimes people aren't per se the main characters. Like, they enjoy the side character because they relate to them.
yeah.
And so whenever you bring that to the main stage, it's like they don't feel that connection anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like some people, like, I guess, I don't know, the role they want to play in their life, like, they don't want to be at the front or they don't want to, like, stand out like that. And then, like, they relate to that person and you just screwed it all up.
Like, sometimes it's great not knowing about a character in a movie because, like, you get the gist. Like, Jack Sparrow in the first one, my man just came in throwing hands and we were, like, chill with it. We were chill. So,
Yeah, that's a weird, like, concept, too, where
I
sometimes,
know.
like, you love a character because he's in the background and they try to make a story about him. You're like, no, I don't want to know about you.
Get back where you
Just-
belong.
Yeah.
again, that sort of relates to real life sort of thing. Like,
So when you like a side character like that, how would a movie, I guess, continue a story with the side character that you really enjoy? Do you kind of keep them in the side? Do you keep like the same main character and just have the kind of duo, I guess you could say?
Kind of like he grows to the point where he's not the main character, but he's like one of the main characters.
Pretty much, yeah,
Like they're together.
like the development, I
Yeah.
guess you could say. Or do you think sequel is more of bad writing because of maybe money or wrong intent? As in, I intended to do 3, made 4.
yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, it really comes down to, like, planning beforehand. Like, what is that character's role? And to really just, like, set your boundaries, basically, and, like, this is what's going on. I'm not making a third, fourth one after this because this is the intention. This is my purpose for this movie or this genre or whatever. And you can enjoy the character from there. I don't know. The idea, this is going to sound so bad, of making a movie because people outside like that character, I just don't see it. Because they like that character because of who they were in that moment. You're now basically dragging that character outside of whatever they liked or experienced and putting it into, like, a different realm. And I feel like it just sometimes, like, beats up the character. But I don't know how to put it.
And let's say the writing is mysterious in a way where it would be really good to make another movie, I guess you could say. For example, there's a movie called I Am Number 4 or I Am 4, something like that. And basically what the plot is, dude has powers, so does like 7 other people, and all 8 of them have like a mark on them. And they're spread like throughout the world, but they're all being hunted. So number 4, he's the like main target at the moment because they killed the first 3. And the guys that are chasing him and everything, he goes pretty much through his journey where he's learning how to use his powers and all that. And he also meets number 6, I'm pretty sure. So he meets another person kind of like him. And it turns into like a duo of kind of them starting to fight back. You get like kind of just the beginning. It's like him and his guardian, and they're kind of roughing it out. They're changing schools and everything just in case anything happens because they're trying not to get caught. And they get to a point where they finally start fighting back. And like right when I guess they have, you could call their first victory, or they're finally able to like really escape, it stops. So I guess now there is like a level of closure in that where I am satisfied with what I saw, but I'm like, wow, it would be nice to kind of keep that going a little more. Let someone else like bring in more of the people, let some of them die type thing. Like you can, I feel like you can work very well with that type of plot.
Yeah. It's probably just for me, like, about purpose and intent, like, sort of thing. If it was intended or if there's a purpose behind making a second one, then yeah, continue. Otherwise,
Stop. Please. I'm tired of it. No pleases anymore. I'm not asking.
Well, that was the last question I had prepared for everybody.
alrighty.
Any more questions,
No.
comments, anything y'all got to say?
No, we good.
Thank you for having this podcast today, Mike.
I do
Thanks,
my best.
man.
I try.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Hold up. Goddamn. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. If there's anything you guys have to comment, to say, question, any of that, please leave it in the comments. We would love to hear it. And that's S'mores for you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys.